Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Lamanna, and I am the founder and executive director of StudySense. We are a education firm that helps support students with executive functioning deficits. More specifically, we tend to work with a lot of students with an ADHD diagnosis or an autism diagnosis, or even students who are struggling to develop their executive functioning skills that will allow them to be able to plan, to organize, to get through school, and even further down the road, get through life. So today what we're doing is we're giving a presentation on ways to practice executive functioning skills this summer. Right now, as I'm doing this video, I believe we're around the last day of school for a lot of our surrounding towns. So I just wanted to make this video to help those who now say, now what, our daily routine is kind of over for now. So how do we create one on our own for the summertime? Why is it important to develop executive functioning skills over the summer? Well, first, it helps build independence and responsibility. We all want our children to be independent. We all want our children to be responsible. By providing some sort of structure over the summer, we are teaching our kids how to develop that independence and that responsibility. The key to doing this is having a balance between fun and relaxing things, but at the same time, having a plan, having a daily routine, having that organization. All of this will help your kids manage their time, manage their self-regulation, be able to organize and make a plan. All these things are super important. And summer, and in my opinion, is the best time to do this because it's relaxed. There's no hurry up, let's get going with after school sports or homework or studying for tests. So us parents, we can absolutely build these skills into our fun and relaxing summer. One of the first ideas, which doesn't seem that crazy, but it's sometimes we don't do it because it's summertime, is establish that morning routine. The key here is to help kids with planning, focusing, cognitive flexibility, and working memory. By having a morning routine, setting a standard where maybe you say Monday through Friday, we have to set our alarm. We're going to wake up by 9, 10 a.m., whatever you choose it to be, but having certain things done by a certain time of that morning every day. Could be flexible on the weekends. Maybe it's just times where if they're getting ready for camp, they still have the same kind of routine, or maybe they don't have anything at all, but you still want to have that morning routine set. So we're not starting off the day without a set structure. Another idea is to assign chores. I know a lot of kids won't be psyched about this, but just having chores is really a good way to learn responsibility and develop independence. Obviously, you want to assign chores that are more in line with where they are age wise, along those lines. But start with something like something that I've done is that, every morning it's your responsibility to empty the dishwasher and make it part of their morning routine by 10 a.m. I will make sure that the dishes are loaded in the dishwasher is run, but I'm going to have you help me in the morning by emptying the dishwasher yourself. Way to not, I guess the key to here too is just don't assign the chore, actually walk them through what you want emptying the dishwasher to look like. That's really key. If you just say empty the dishwasher and they say, well, I don't even know where any of the dishes go. Then the next thing you know, you're frustrated because you're thinking, well, you've lived here long enough, you should know, but sometimes they don't, and that's okay. If you want something to happen, especially with those with the executive functioning deficit, we want to be sure that we show them exactly what we do. And that means maybe for the first week, you are with them while they put away the dishes. Praise them when they do it. And then eventually they'll be able to do it on their own because then now they know where everything goes and they know what's expected of them. Create a dedicated workspace. I like this one, and I think this one's actually good for all year round, not just summertime. Is if you have that dedicated workspace, say for reading or for writing or for doing homework or whatever you want it to be, it's their own. And they can say, this is where I do my homework, where I do my reading, where I write my letters. where I do my coloring, whatever fun thing they want to do or not so fun thing to do. Their workspace is theirs, and they know when that in their air that when they are in that area, they need to be quiet. They need to maintain focus as much as they can. What I would recommend in this creative dedicated workspace is for students to have an analog clock. This lets them to be able to watch time. You can actually even buy something on Amazon. I've seen it where it's an analog clock, and what it has is kind of a colored bar that shows time. So if you set it as a timer, like, oh, for 20 minutes, we're going to read, it will go from the 20 back up to the 0, almost like a timer, I guess, but it shows the time fading away. And for some kids, having that timer allows them to know, well, this is how much time I'm dedicating to reading, or this is how much time I'm dedicating to just relaxing before I start a project that's going to be more demanding on me. So I need that. But having that timer there is something that I would strongly recommend for that spot. Meal planning. This is a really good one. And what I love about this one is that everybody likes to eat. But not everyone likes to cook, but that's okay. But what we're teaching the kids is that if you can make a meal for us, and it doesn't have to be fancy, it can be a spaghetti and a salad, spaghetti and garlic bread, super, super simple. But let them come up with the idea. And if they're struggling to come up with an idea, what you could do is say, well, here's a list of the things that we all like, 6 or 7 of them. Put the recipes in a hat, have them pull one out, and that's the recipe they're making this week. But really have them go through the whole process. You want them to write down the list of ingredients that they need. You can do the shopping for them, or if they're old enough to go shopping on their own, that's something that they can do. And then what you're going to do is, maybe the first time they do it, you're with them in the kitchen as they go through the whole process of making the meal, and then have them really understand how to read a recipe. And then lastly, have them serve it to everybody and praise them. Tell them what a really wonderful job they did. And it's fun. And I think it's a nice way for everybody to bond, but it's also teaching your child, again, so many executive functioning skills that you just don't think about, and helping them, sequence how the recipe goes, how to read it in order, why it's written a certain way. I've seen a lot of kids actually with executive functioning that jump around all over the paper and don't really pay attention to the recipe and how it's written. So it's important showing them that there is a method to all of this, and there's a reason why it's there, and learning that step-by-step process. Again, I can't emphasize enough, a lot of students and children with executive functioning deficits have a hard time really visualizing the steps, envisioning what to do. So really helping them develop that picture in their mind, and allowing them to literally see what they need to do it's just so important. A lot of kids go to camps over the summer, have jobs, things like that. That's fine. It's great. All part of the summer fun. But what we want to do is not pack for them, not do everything for them. We want them to be part of the process. Teach them how to make a checklist. Show them how to pick out the gear that they need. Now, we're not going to probably go to a summer camp that's involved with a lot of hiking, or whatever it may be, packing high heel shoes. So we want to make sure that they have the most appropriate gear necessary. And if they don't already have it, how do they go about getting it? What do they need to do? What are the steps that you set forth for them to be able to prepare for themselves for these sort of activities? One thing that I thought was really good this year, that I had a student who had several friends going off to sleepaway camps. So we talked about the importance of getting her friends' information so that she could write to them, because they won't have access to their phones. They won't have to text, so they'll have to go totally old school and actually write a letter. So having that address that your child can give to his or her friends, or for the friends to be able to write to them, that's a big part of the executive functioning development as well. Summer assignments. I know everybody has a reading assignment. Yay. Sometimes we put them off to the very last minute. Yay. So we're trying to avoid that. It's very easy to get caught up, and I am guilty of this too. Very easy to be like, oh, it's just June. I have plenty of time. Next thing you know, it's the end of July. Oh, and next thing you know, it's back to school. And I haven't touched a thing. So, how can we approach our summer reading assignments without having it all happen at the last minute? One of the ideas, obviously, is to create a reading schedule. I actually just did this for one of my students, and we broke down the book into by 8 weeks. So we are only reading maybe 50 pages a week, which is very doable. And then they felt that that was something that they could do. But breaking it down is one thing. The next step is really creating a time that we're going to actually do the reading, and how do we plan that? So that's part of it. We want to make sure that we're not just breaking things up and walking away, that we're actually doing check-ins. We're making sure that we're staying on track. And the kids, for your student to understand the importance of why scheduling is important, why breaking down tasks is important. That's a big part of executive functioning. My favorite is creating a family calendar. I know a lot of people have calendars that say mom kind of oversees. What we want to do is we want to create a calendar that everybody can participate in. Everybody can put their activities in, so everybody kind of has idea of what's going on. Not that we have to micromanage everybody, but it's always nice to see, say that, you know, your child wants to go to the amusement park later in the week, but then sees on your calendar that he has actually a dentist appointment. He can be part of that process, right? Of knowing, oh, well, then I guess I can't book my fun time. Let me look down the road and be able to see what other dates are available that I can plan something fun. The importance of using a calendar is it really helps kids not only plan and organize, but do some more future thinking. What's also nice about a calendar is that when things don't happen that may be on your calendar, we can reflect on it as an individual, as a family. Well, why didn't it happen? Sometimes life just happens and it doesn't happen. Or sometimes you've overscheduled yourself and you say, well, I don't want that to happen again. Helping your child who has the executive functioning deficits really kind of reflect on what worked, what didn't work in a non-shameful way is a really great way to open the conversation to how we can make changes to make life better and easier for them. Um, there's nothing wrong with overscheduling. Sometimes that happens. And so sometimes learning how to see that and understand that is not a mistake. It's just something to learn from and move on. Going more on why planning matters is that planning, like I said before, teaches them, using a calendar teaches them how to visualize time, plan with intention, balance priorities, and reflect and adjust. Everything I just said. It's really key. I think at this point in our lives as adults, using a calendar is almost second nature, but for these kids, it's not. They don't know what to do, and that's okay. But we want them to know what to do. And learning how to use a calendar is going to help them independently plan their own lives, their day to day of what they need to do with school or after school activities or with friends or working around your calendar and your responsibilities, their siblings' responsibilities. It's really just a huge skill that I strongly believe really helps with kids feel more in control and feel more calmness, especially when they're feeling completely overwhelmed by everything else going on around them. What else calendar teaches? Future thinking. What will I need to do later? It teaches self-regulation. Do I have time for this? It teaches goal setting. What do I want to get done this week? And it teaches follow through. What did I actually do? Everything I just said. When kids have executive functioning deficits, I'm sure you've all seen this. What they do, rather than try to figure out how to tackle it, they just walk away or they just stop. Having that calendar, that visual piece, whether it's an old school desk calendar, wall calendar, something you just print out and pencil in, or a Google calendar, something online, whatever helps them, having that visual to look at helps kind of trigger those reminders, but also lets them see what's happening down the road. And it's forcing them to say, oh, well, what's happening on Saturday when it's only Wednesday, just so they know and they have that idea of what's going on. So the way to maybe initiate doing a calendar this summer is to first define what your child's ideal week would look like. So what I would do, and I've done this with a couple of my students this spring, this early summer already, is in the process of learning how to calendar and how to plan, we first step is we say, what's your ideal week look like? Okay. I'll say, what do you want to do this summer? What do you need to do this summer? So we know that sometimes there's a summer reading that needs to go on. We know that there is family vacations that happen. We know that you may have a job. We know that you may have camps. We know you may have to write your college essay, right? So we know those things are going on. We also know some kids have to train during the summer for their fall sports. So I like to break them down into categories. And some of the categories that I have here on the slide is health, which I would include under the category of having sleep, exercise, outdoor time, diet, whatever they want it to be, right? However you want to define that. Growth, your learning, your work, your reading. So that might include your summer reading, your college essays, whatever it is, practicing the SAT for the SAT. Relationships, time with your family and friends. You can include in that some vacation time, maybe. And then fun. What do you want to do? Do you want to read a book? Do you want to watch TV? Do you want to have hobbies that you do? Do you what are just downtime, surfing the web, whatever you want to do? Let's put those things in the categories first and define what that really means, what you'd like to do this summer. Step 2 is to create that weekly template. Open up a week on Google Calendar. Print something from the web. Go actually buy a calendar from Staples. Whatever's going to work for you, let's do it. So what we like to do is I prefer to use something on the computer. You could even use an Excel spreadsheet. But if you want to print something, and what I would break it down as, here's what the week looks like Sunday through Saturday. And then actually have the time blocks on it. Like here's 8 a.m., here's 9 a.m., here's 10 a.m. So you can chunk everything off by an hour. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Then you have your categories. You can color code them like we had on the previous page of your health, your work, your fun, whatever you want it to be, whatever you want to name it. It's totally fine. Step 3, and we're going to start plugging in the priorities, right? We're going to plug in things we have to do first, right? Like we go to camp every day this summer, plug it in. We have a family rule that you're going to be up by 10 a.m. every day, right? That's going to get plugged in. You're going to wake up. We have the rule that we're going to do some chores, and the chore is you're going to empty the dishwasher every day or every other day, whatever you want it to be, right? Or make your bed. So you're going to list those things out in the calendar so they literally see each step that they have to do during the day. Last step, after we do all that, is we're going to reflect on what worked and what didn't work. Maybe the first week as you're doing this, you keep it really simple, what that ideal summer week would look like. Maybe there's a lot of maybe I shouldn't say a lot. Maybe there should be specific times, like you said, like what are my rules? I want you up every day by 10. That's our rule. Or on the weekend, you can sleep as late as you want, or whatever you want it to be, right? I'd like you to do some of these chores, and this is the things I'm asking you to do. Or on this calendar, we're going to have you cook dinner on Thursdays. That's going to be your day that you cook the family meal. When all that is said and done, go through the week, see how it goes, what worked, what didn't work. And then at the end of the week, sit down as a family and say, what did work? Okay, great. What didn't work? What made you feel rushed or that you just never got to? And that's fine. Let them say it. No one's mad. We're just doing this to see how it's going to work. And then what would I change for next week? What can we do better? You're going to get some pushback because it's summer and they don't feel that they need to do this, but make it as fun as possible. Even keep a calendar for yourself that shows what you're doing to make changes. Like, this is what I like to do. This is my ideal summer week. And this is how me as mom or me as dad wants to do these things, so that we're all making the effort to make some changes and develop our executive functioning and meet some of the goals that we have as a family or as an individual over the summer. The key is we want to start developing some future thinking. A lot of kids with executive functioning deficits really struggle with this idea. And it's very common, especially when you're young. It's hard to see out to the future. They say it's not until you're probably in your mid-20s are you able to project out what you'll be doing, let's say, in a month. When you're younger, it's hard to think, oh gosh, in 3 weeks, that seems forever away, right? But we want to start developing this skill. It's not going to come out right away, but we want to start developing this skill so that your child starts to be able to see, well, hey, I need to set my alarm because I have a hard time waking up at 10 a.m. I learned that over this past week. So let me set an alarm that I'm up by 9:30. Then I have my teeth brushed and I have maybe a little bite to eat for breakfast and I have the dishwasher emptied. Then I've met all my responsibilities and then I can go do my other thing that I want to do. The more that they can do that future thinking and reflecting helps build up on that future thinking even more. Your role as the parent. So, key, and this is hard, be a coach, not a boss. You're there to cheer them on. You're there to say, this is great. I want to make improvements here. I see that you want to make some, changes here. I'm here to support you. Don't bark out orders. So hard. Don't be the mom in these cases while we're teaching the executive functioning. You're going to be there just to collaborate and to help them see where they need more support and how you're going to support them through that process. Totally normalize the whole thing. Actually just really like the idea that I just said. Do one for yourself, be part of the process. When they see you modeling the behavior you want from them, you're still going to get pushback, but they're going to be there and they're going to be more open to it. Some tools that we talked about earlier was the printable weekly planners. You can find them all over the internet. Google Calendar, which I really like, but share that amongst each other so everybody has access to it. Dry erase boards, classic. Everybody likes those, right? Color-coded pens and sticky notes, that's pretty good. Some of these apps, I'll be honest, I haven't checked out, but if you're more of a tech-savvy kind of family, they say Time Tree, Notion, or Sunsama. I think I'm saying that correctly. Those are nice ones to do. But if you have any other ideas, I'd love to hear from you, and of what other tools and apps or calendaring programs you have. That'd be great. Love to hear from that. So in the end, summer is supposed to be fun. We all know that. But we want to start helping your children who are struggling to get things done, learn how to start that planning and future thinking in a super super chilled environment, right? We want to have balance, but we still want to have a plan. We want to have a routine that really helps them not only learn how to these skills over the summer, but they can carry it over into the school year and that they can carry it over into their lives when they're no longer living with you. Let everybody know that if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on social media. Facebook, I have Facebook /StudySense. On Instagram, I'm at StudySense Tutoring. We also have an executive functioning support group on Facebook called the Executive Functioning Support Group here in Massachusetts. We post a ton of weekly goals and tips up there, tips and tools, I should say, that I feel are incredibly helpful. So please join that Facebook page and you'll get a lot of helpful information. Or if you want to reach out and have a question for me, feel free to reach out to me at kate@studysensetutoring.com, or feel free to check out my website. There is a link on there if you want to talk to me, to set up an appointment with me. I'd love to hear from you. Just let you know, we have many tutors that work with me. I should call them coaches. They're all educators that have a large background in executive functioning, and we're here to support you and help support your family, and most importantly, your child, and bring them the success that they deserve. Because we know your kids are smart. We know they're capable of doing this work. They just need to understand how to do the work, and that's the key. Anyway, thank you guys. Feel free to share this video with anybody. I just started a YouTube page, and if you want to like it and be subscribed to it, that would be great too. And I'm hoping over the course of the summer that we can have updates of weekly videos for everybody to watch and to participate in. Thanks again.